But let's dive in right now to my current top 10 teams in the country, and let's see how they look. And it's a little bit different, of course, with OU losing, LSU losing. Texas is going to stay in there at 10, although they slid back just a little bit after their performance against Texas Tech. Notre Dame's still in there. Miami makes their appearance. There we go, Canes. 3-0 are the Canes. Penn State jumps in. Georgia falls to 6. Auburn to 5. I don't know how confident I am at Auburn at 5, but I am confident in those top 4. Florida, Alabama, Ohio State, and Clemson. A couple of notes real quick. Miami, you jumped into the top 10, and you know what? 3-0. Well done, Manny Diaz, and more importantly, well done, De'Ara King and Rhett Lashley. Lashley, the offensive coordinator, has come in, and with De'Ara King there at quarterback, they look really good and maybe a legitimate threat to Clemson in that ACC. I can't wait to see how this season moves forward for them. But remember now, they scored 5 straight touchdowns in their 5 opening drives against Florida State and beat them down. I mean, my goodness, what has happened to Florida State? It's certainly not the Florida State that I remember, but that was a dominant victory, Miami over Florida State. Some notes about Ohio State. They're number 2 in my poll. I know the AP doesn't have them as high, but remember, some people are not voting for them right now, and some people are going to wait until they play. So look for them to jump up once they start playing games all the way into that 3-2 spot with Clemson and Alabama. And then Wyatt Davis, their great guard, and Sean Wade, their terrific corner. They have been cleared to play. Remember, they opted out, then they opted back in, and they have been cleared to play. So there's that there coming up for the Ohio State Buckeyes. But I wanted to sit real quickly on the SEC East because I think it's turning into a one-team race. Florida looked really dominant, and their offense, to me, looks like it could be dominant all season long. First and foremost, you've got Dan Mullen there at Florida, and this guy is now 22-5 since coming to Gainesville. Okay, so he's building something and has built something that is really quality there with the Florida Gators. They're top 3 for the first time since 2012, not in my poll, but in the AP poll. And they've got a quarterback and tight end that I think might be the best combination quarterback receiving threat maybe in the country. Pitts is unbelievable. Kyle Pitts. More on him later in the show. Kyle Trask, unbelievable performance. Those two guys are terrific, but it's more about what they're fixing within their offense, because we knew Trask and Pitts were going to be really good, but they're fixing their run game. Their run game was the second worst run game in the SEC last year. Second worst. And then they come out this year, and against Ole Miss, they ran for 196 yards and 6.8 per carry. So they're fixing their run game. If they get that run game, along with their quarterback and tight end, and they can get some play action, then sky's the limit for that offense. Then you contrast that with the other contender in the East, which is, I think, the University of Georgia. And Georgia did not look good. Now, granted, they might get better, in particular as they get some clarity at the quarterback position. But in Todd Monken's first game as the offensive coordinator, the offense looked terrible. They've got to figure out what's going on. Now, JT Daniels, a transfer from USC, was not cleared to play in the opening week. Remember, he had that knee injury from a year ago. But he has been cleared now moving forward. So we'll see if he gets the keys to the car, and he might need to, because the run game, which we thought was going to be dominant, was not dominant. They ran it against Arkansas for 2.9 yards per carry. That's not going to get it done when you're trying to figure it out at the quarterback position. And now look at the murderer's row that they've got in front of them over the next 3 weeks. Georgia plays number 7 Auburn, number 21 Tennessee, and then number 2 Alabama. So if they don't get that quarterback position figured out, they could be out of this SEC East race before they even get to their bye. So that's a problem there for the Georgia Bulldogs as we take a look at what's going on in the SEC East. And then real quickly, for Penn State and Ohio State, a lot of people upset that I included them in the poll. Wait until they play, wait until they play. Listen, I didn't wait to include the SEC teams while they didn't play for 2 or 3 weeks before, after we were seeing Clemson and some of these other teams play. And so I'm not going to wait for the Big Ten teams. Penn State, Ohio State, they're my number 7 and number 2 ranked teams in the country.
Start your Saturday strong at 10 Eastern with the legendary college football lineup on the Big Noon Kickoff Show. Big Noon Kickoff on Fox.